Hey pilots, Drain Man here, and today I have got a very special video. In today's video, we're going to be building a quadcopter, but not any old quadcopter. Recently, we went to a Sunday Bando Bash. I brought 7 quadcopters with me. Yeah, not 1, not 2, 7. And I left with all 7 broken. Arms shattered, motor shattered, pieces just everywhere. One of them somebody plugged in and got me in the sky and I nosedived. I mean, it was brutal. We were there all day. I flew all day, but I went home with no quads. So I am on a mission. I am on a journey to find a quadcopter that isn't going to just shatter every single time I crash. I mean, look at this. This is a bit much. I didn't hit that hard. I mean, maybe I did. But who cares? I need something stronger. So what I've got myself here is the Bot Banger AFX. This is a freestyle frame with super thick plates, super thick arms. I believe everything on this guy is 6 millimeters. So I'm hoping that I can take a few crashes. I've tried to find the strongest motors I can. I tried to find everything that I can as strong as I possibly can. And we are going to go on a journey testing new equipment, building new quadcopters until I find one that can handle some crashes. All right. Most recently, I just reviewed the Infinity board. That's this guy right here. This is a $130 board, but it's got ESC, flight controller, both mixed into one, and it is super beefy. And they're calling it Infinity because you're supposed to be able to fly it forever. So I'm going to put this board on this frame with some Drain Man motors, and we are going to build ourselves a strong quadcopter. Let's go. All right, pilots, let's dive in. So, inside of the Bot Banger 5, I mean, this is a beefy old frame, okay? Let's see what comes inside. I mean, look at the thickness of this stuff. This is not your everyday thin little stuff. I mean, look how thick that arm is. Holy macaroni. So that is what I'm talking about, and that is what I'm looking for. All right, so we've got a little bit of 3D print and a cool bot sticker, a shut up and fly BQE. I like it. We've got our standoffs, bottom plate. Ooh, another BQE. Loving it, loving it. And then we've got other build stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all this together, and we'll meet back here. Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. That is a beautiful frame, and I must say it's one of the easiest frames I've ever put together. I had two screws, and I was done. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And this aluminum color, I'm loving it. Now, look here. What do you see here? These are those beveled washers, and what they do is when you put a screw through them, they are a full circumference of where the screw would go. So if I took a screw and I tightened it down on the carbon, I've now got almost like a pressure point. So when I have an impact, boom, I'm putting all that pressure on one point. These little beveled washers, they kind of spread so there's not so much of a pressure point. That's a nice touch. Plus they look cool. I mean, if they serve no purpose, they look good. So that's pretty awesome. We've got them for the top and we've got them for the bottom, so you can't beat that. Look at this arm. This is an Armatan Chameleon, not to put them in the hot seat, but this is a tough frame. Right? This is a tough frame. It's even got a titanium cage right on the front. So this is supposed to be a strong frame. Look at this. The arm is nearly double the thickness. Well, not double, but it's damn close. So I'm feeling pretty good about this already, and we haven't even put it together yet. So let's keep moving. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and mount our ESC/flight controller all in one. So we're going to mount this guy right here. Now on this, please keep in mind, if you haven't built one yet, you've got to actually look for it to be able to find it. But on the corner of one of the ESCs, there's a little tiny arrow that says, this way, people. And that is telling you that that's the way that the flight controller is actually going. So if I flip that around, boom, now my arrow's going that way, okay? And that's going to be the way this mounts. Coming right out the side, just like that. I don't have to do motor mapping. I don't have to change any of that. I'm just ready to go right out of the box. So let's go ahead and get our motors put on so that way we don't have to deal with that. As you know, I need a strong motor. On this journey, I want a motor that's going to be able to withstand a couple crashes. And lately, I've been having the best luck with the Drainman motors. If you have not considered a set, they are made by Flywoo. They are the Flywoo Nins, and they are gorgeous. They're a Unibel gunmetal 6S motor. You got to get you some. I'll put the link down in the video description. That's these guys right here. Woo-hoo-hoo! Look at those, man. Look at that. There's your Drainman logo right there, baby. All right, what we're going to do when we mount these beautiful motors is I'm going to use some of these My FPV slides. These are just little 3D printed skids that you put on the bottom. And when you mount your motor, you stick them on just like that. I love them. They're just a couple bucks. I'll put a link for you down in the video description. But basically, it makes it so when you come into land, you'll slide on that plastic instead of sliding on the bottom of your screws. I mean, hello. Or if you're going to hit a wall slide, you're going to slide down a roof, whatever you're going to do, you're not actually grinding away your motors, and you can't beat them when they burn out. You just put on a new set. Motor goes here. You're going to notice a little cutout in the foot. That's if your bottom screw that holds your bell on was protruding out the bottom. That's where that would sit. That's kind of a way to make it universal so all motors will fit. But with this motor, you don't have to worry about that. But anywho. So what we'll do is we'll flop that over. We'll put the skid from the bottom. All right, so I just need to be sure that I'm using the right motor screw size, because if not, you can end up going too far, having your motor screw touch your motor windings, and now you're going to have a whole array of problems, from hot motors to acting up to all kinds of stuff. So you don't want your screws too long, but you don't want them too short either, because with enough with enough throttle, you can pop your motors right off. So what we're going to also use is a little bit of blue Loctite. Do not use red, because if you ever need to get a motor off, I mean, you need to get a motor off. So what I do is I use a little plastic case from like a FetTech flight controller, and I'll just put a little squirt in the corner, just like that. Boom. And then what I'll do is I'll just dab my screw into that corner when I go to thread it in. All right, so the correct length for me is a 12 millimeter, and that's because the skid adds a little bit. So I'm going to pop through the skid, and then I'm going to touch in the corner. Boom. I'm going to put the motor on the foot, and let's go through the bottom, just like that. And then we'll thread it up. And what I'll do is I'll start it without going too tight, and that'll keep me from having issues lining things up. And I'll start the next one, and then I'll grab the fourth one, dab it again into the motor foot. And like I said, once 3 are on, you know that 4 is going to line up, so you're good to go. And then what I'll do is I'll grab my trusty dusty drill, I'll pop it in just like yay, and boom, boom. Look at that. And if I want, which I should, I go back around and just, you know, snug up a little bit, because a loose motor isn't going to do anybody any good. Look at this. This is already tight. There you go. That motor is on and looking good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put on the other 3 motors. There's no need for you to watch me do that, and then we'll meet back here. Woo, baby. Yeah, look at that. Them Drainman motors looking fresh to death. All right. So let's keep it moving, because I want to get to the sky. I know you guys want to know, how does the Infinity fly? How does the Infinity handle crashes? How does it handle that amperage pumping? So the next thing to do is to go ahead and mount our Caddx Vista. All right, now, I went ahead and took the wiring harness that came with the Newbie drone Infinity all-in-one, and I wired it up. All I did was take the plug and go wire for wire. That simple, okay? Does that make sense? So the very first wire went to the very first pad. Second, third, so on and so forth, and that's how this guy wires up. They've designed this board to be that easy. I was extremely impressed because normally I've got to check the pads and blue, blah, blah, whatever. With this guy, none of that. Even when you go for your RX to TX, they set it up for you. Very nice. I went ahead and 3D printed this guy right here. The reason why I chose this is because it's designed to hold the Caddx Vista antenna. So I'm going to slide this in just like that. Holy tight. Alright, so that's a nice snug fit. Now, I would imagine when we mount this in the back right here, and this is just Vista stuff. I mean, if you've connected a Vista, then you know all about it. I'm going to take this here with a washer, and I'm going to drop through. Okay? Then, I'm going to put my driver on it, and I'm going to grab a nut. Now, if I'm smart, I'll use my trusty Dusty, which has a lock, by the way, so this doesn't pop out. Alright, and I'm going to hold that. Boom, and then we just pull the trigger. Look at that. Now, I'm not going to snug it till I put it where I want it. Let's get the other one, because I'm not going to use 4. It's completely unnecessary to put one on each and every corner. I mean, you can, you know, but completely unnecessary. Whenever I mount my Vistas, I do one in each corner, you know, caddy corner. And we're going to do the same thing for this one that we just did for that one. These are actually bulging out of the top plate. See that? Those are above the top. So because it's M2, and there you go. Your Vista is mounted. We're going to mount our antenna, which is just a quick press on of my 3D Prinsit. Look at that, huh? Woo, girl. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop on our camera mounting hardware, which is just a cute little 3D print. Now we take the screws of our choice. Alright, and the frame did come with these. Alright, let's put in this other screw. Now we want to be tight, but we don't want to be too tight, and we want camera tilt, but holy cow, we don't want that much camera tilt. What's left to mount and make look good? That's right, our infinity stack. There you go. Alright, actually though, I do think that it'll be in our best interest to plug our Vista in now and see about looping underneath. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our first motor right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy right here. This is an iFlight motor wire protector. It comes with self-adhesive. They're very, very nice. I like them. It's a clean look and plenty of protection. So now we're going to slide that up like that, and it keeps all your motor wires nice and straight. So see that? Straight. And then I'm going to go in here, and you want to feed them in straight because they don't cross over while they're inside. Like if it's on the left, it stays on the left. So I'm going to lift up on that without messing up my wires. We're going to peel off our adhesive. You see this? Boom. Now I'm going to push and snug, drop right down in the center. Boom! Holy cow, look at that. Protection, coverage, simplicity, everything all in one. I love that. God, that looks good. Look at that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solder up these motor wires right here. We need to pick the correct length, and because the way that this mounts is with your motor wires on the inside, which for this frame is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. But for other frames, I mean, I don't know if that would work with all frames, but this frame, I know it works perfectly. Let's go ahead and strip these wires. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go ahead and tin these wires. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Beautiful. Second wire. Beautiful. Third wire. Beautiful. Woo! I'm loving it. Alright, pilots, I'm going to go ahead and hit the other 4. Oh my God, look at this. It's just coming. Woo! Loving it. Alright, listen, I'm going to hit the other 4 and then I'll meet you back here. Oh yeah, look at that. That is coming together so nicely. We are pretty much at the finish line. Take a look up close. Look at that. Them solder joints on fleek. I'm going to go ahead and grab me some nylon nuts and I'm going to put these on here to hold my flight controller ESC combo down so that way it doesn't try to lift up during flight. Alright, so that is on and ready to go. So the very last thing we got to do is put on our XT60, and the Infinity came with a beautiful AMAS gray and black, which is nice because the black always looks better than the yellow. And we've got to get a good length. We probably don't want to be this long. I mean, that's pretty long. So let's go ahead and trim this up. We'll probably do something along the lines of this. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, make sure you use your capacitor if you're running 6S. I mean, I am, so the capacitor is pretty important. Now, we need to know where's positive. Positive is on this side and negative on this side. Now, we can run our leads multiple different ways. I'm going to spread those open, drop this down, okay? And now there's no right or wrong way, but let's take a look at the top plate. Yeah, right now my goal is to just solder it so it doesn't move. Alright, that's not the easiest to reach up in there. But now I can bend my capacitor down just a little bit without going too crazy because we don't want to bend it all over the place. And now if you take a look at it overall, I mean, it's ready to go. I can take my top plate and put it in place. And that gives me an idea of my lead being right there. So once I strap my battery on, I mean, all is well. Yes, there is a capacitor out the side, but I mean, you gotta have it. The only alternative would be to run 2 leads over and then put your cap somewhere else. But now, what I've got here is something that I've 3D printed up, and the two separate. You just rip these off like that. Boom. And you mount this one here. You mount this one here. And then across the two, you can put your GoPro right there, just like that. Just like yay. Okay. And there you go. Look at that. Holy macaroni. Now, to give you an idea of how this works, you'll see right here, you've got two holes right here. We actually put standoffs in there. You'll put some standoffs in there, and then you'll use screws, and look at that. I mean, talk about a beautiful snug fit. I mean, that just couldn't fit any better. And it's almost like kind of like a soft mount, but also nice and rigid. You're not going to destroy your frame in a crash. And if you rip the GoPro mount, not a problem. As long as I don't break my GoPro, I'm A-okay. All right, pilots, look at that bot banger. That thing is gorgeous, and these arms are beefy. They are super strong. I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind that this thing is going to handle and fly great. It's going to be able to take crashes, which is super important. That's the whole point of this journey. So I am excited. I'm going to go ahead and jump in Betaflight. I'm going to set this guy up. We're going to take it outside. We're going to take it to the clouds, and we're going to find out how is it. You guys let me know. Hit those comments. Let's do this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.
Woo!